Hi guys, it's me ROSJ, and welcome back to Xaltic, the beginning series. The last time we talked about Xaltic training regimen, where Anuk is training Nald to increase his physical energy. They do this training up until Nald reaches 13 years of age. Anyway, let us go to the continuation of chapter 1, and this subchapter is called Spear, Mastering the Xaltic Art of Battle, and Karmal Senses. There it is. Now, in this subchapter, Anuk will introduce another one of their relic weapon, and they call this one Spear, and also teaches Nald some basic techniques on how to use it. Anuk will also activate Nald's Karmal Senses and teaches Nald how it works. Now, if you missed my previous video and you want to know the summary of chapter 1, I posted the link in the description below for you to watch it back. Because chapter 1 is a very long conversation. Now, without further ado, let us continue. Night has passed and the two are well rested. Nald wake up from his sleep and Anuk wake up early and is outside the small hut. Nald approach Anuk and sit in front of him. The two Xaltic start conversing. Good morning, son. Good morning, father. How was your sleep? It's great, father. I'm fully charged and ready for the training ahead. You have grown stronger, my son. You are now ready to learn and have this spear and short sword. Thank you, father. Anuk stand up, Nald sit, and ready to listen. Now, before we start the training, I'll be discussing a bit of theory about spear and short sword. Understood, father. Now, son, look at this. Anuk pulled out something covered in his back and removed the bandages. It uncovers the spear. What is that, father? This is a spear. But how can it be a spear? It's just a short pole that has a sharp point. I thought a spear should be long pole, sharp point. You're correct, son. In order to see the true capability of this weapon, you need to transmute this weapon into battle spear. Let me show it to you, son. Anuk transmuted the short pole into the battle spear. Psst. Wow, that's a spear. Haha. Now, son, this weapon is one of our relic weapon as well. Another thing that you will notice in the spear is the blade on the edge became long and sharp. I don't recommend holding the edge of the blade. It is very sharp. Wow. Father, can it penetrate the metal? Yes, son, it can, but it depends upon the metal and force that you exerted when you thrust it. If it is a titanium and silver, you cannot penetrate it. How about cutting metal? For that one, son, again, it depends upon the metal that you're trying to cut. If it is a titanium or a silver metal, then it is not possible. It can cut steel, but again, it requires a lot of force to cut it. How about silver metal? Can it cut it? It can dull silver, but it can't cut it. I understood, father. Now, son, this spear is made up of titanium, silver, and Osiris, which is good for fighting monsters. Mystic beings doesn't like silver metal. It hurts them severely. Combined silver metal with titanium and Osiris, it becomes indestructible. Son, you will not be familiar with Osiris. Osiris is a special metal that can only be made by God. It is a type of metal that cannot be destroyed by any ordinary means, except if God decided to destroy it. Only God can destroy Osiris metal. So that means Osiris metal is created by demon god. Understood, Father. And what are mystic beings? Mystic beings are creatures that are not belong in this dimension. So that means that we are mystic beings as well, because we don't belong in this time period. Son, let me explain. When I say dimension, it means world that can be perceived or measured, just like the world that we are in right now. And we call this dimension human world. We are not mystic beings. When I say not belong in this dimension, it means not belong in the human world like us. We are not belong in this time, but we are still in human world dimension. Understood, Father? So that means there's another dimension other than us? Yes, you are correct, son. I'm not sure what dimension these mystic beings came from, but I'm sure they do not belong in this world. So how did they come up in this world, Father? They were summoned by either these magicians, such as wizards, sorcerers, summoners, witches, shaman, and necromancers. Those individuals that you mentioned can do magic, right? Yes, you are correct, son. And they are a formidable opponent if you encounter one, especially the summoners. Why so? Why is it that they're so formidable opponent, Father? Is it because they use magic? Partly yes, but that is not the only reason why they're so dangerous. They know how to counteract magic and also do offensive magics and also do offensive magic. Sometimes if a magician is so powerful, the only way to defeat them is by physically attacking them. But that is not easy as well, because they know how to use defensive spell while using offensive spell at the same time. The only way to defeat them is by wearing them out. Once they are tired, then that is when you can inflict damage to their body physically. But remember, we do tire as well. So keep in mind about your physical energy. Measure the situation, okay? Understood, Father? I remember way back when I was young, we Xaltic invaded Sumerian tribe on the north. From there, I encountered a powerful sorcerer named Sinla. He is so powerful, he takes out 100 of our strongest men. His way of attack is combination of summoning mystic beings and offensive elemental attacks. And if you try to physically attack him, he will deflect it or teleport on a different place. Even our transmutation is useless against this sorcerer. It is so frustrating fighting this sorcerer. It takes me about 5 hours to defeat him. Very exhausting. How did you defeat him, Father? We're both exhausted. He blasted me with his final attack. I was able to recover from it, and before he recovers a little bit of his energy, I throw the spear into his chest. It is the same spear that I'm holding right now. Wow, you are amazing, Father, and you're really strong too. Question, Father, how did you survive his final attack? I conjure earth transmutation element to protect myself from his powerful attack. You mean cover your whole body with combined rock and metal? Yes, son, you are correct. I'm so exhausted after the battle that I cannot even stand from exhaustion. Good thing I have my comrades with me to carry me back to the village. Amazing, Father. Enough of the storytelling. Let us continue. Now, you will notice that on the other side of the blade of the spear is a rounded metal. This is used for blunt attack. When you say blunt attack, Father, what are the uses for that? This is used to crush your opponent other than slicing or thrusting. Very useful for armors that are very hard to penetrate by either slice or thrust. Or if you don't want to kill your opponent fast, you can use this as a warning attack or disabling. Understood, Father? Another thing to know, son, is this rounded metal can be transmuted into blade as well. Watch this. Ano transmuted the round metal into blade. Wow, that's amazing. You see now, you have two blades on each end point of your spear, like a dual blade. You can use this dual blade in one of our techniques. Let me show it to you. Anok positioned the spear above his head, both arms extended upwards while holding the spear. Slowly rotate the spear using both hands. Then he continues to rotate it. It goes faster and faster up until faster enough to cut anything. Then Anok stopped. Wow, amazing, Father. What you call the technique? It's called whirlwind, son. This technique is used if you are surrounded by hundreds of enemies, and at the center, and you at the center. Just use this to cut them through. This technique is very useful. Let's say they fire an upward attack of arrows through the skies. This attack will block those arrows. But if the arrow is straight forward to you, I don't recommend using this. Instead, use your earth transmutation to protect your body. Understood, Father? Another thing to remember that you can use your single hand to rotate this spear. But if you want to rotate it faster, we use two hands. And if you want to transmute it into even longer spear, and also you can transmute it into even longer spear, but it requires a lot of training to master it. Anok undo the transmutation with the battle spear. Understood, Father? Son, take this spear and transmute it into battle spear. Anok gave the spear to Nald. But how to transmute it, Father? Is it the same as transmuting an earth? You're correct, son. Just focus and concentrate to transmute it into battle spear. And you don't need to worry about getting tired yourself. This type of transmutation only takes a little bit of our physical energy. This means you can transmute it 1,000 times as you want. You will never get tired. And also, don't forget to mark it with your force sigil, just in case that you throw it in a distance and you want to get it back as fast as you can. You can magnetize it back by using your force sigil, and it will be a permanent mark once done. It will be yours forever. Understood, Father, and thank you for the spear. Now it was able to transmute the spear into battle spear, and he marked it with his force sigil as well. Excellent, son. Let us proceed to the next topic. Now undo the transmutation of battle spear and put the spear on his side. Start listening to Anok. Anok, take out the short sword. Now let's make a small discussion about this short sword. This short sword is our auxiliary weapon. Our main weapon is the spear, but we need auxiliary to back it up. But we need auxiliary to back up our attack. That is when the short sword comes in. You will notice that this short sword is made up of steel. Not only that, it is much lighter than our spear, or even an ordinary sword. It is much shorter than ordinary sword. It is much shorter than ordinary short sword, and almost like a dagger, but it's a little bit longer than a dagger. Later, we will incorporate this use of short sword while using our spear. Understood, Father? So let me borrow the spear for a while. Okay, Father, here it is. Now I'll give the spear to Anok. Let us start with the basic. First, we'll be mastering our fighting stance as Xaltic warriors. Whenever you pull a weapon, this will be your stance. Anok demonstrate the Xaltic stance. Anok hold the battle spear on his right hand, lower down his hips, widen his steps, left foot in front and right foot at the back. The knees are curved enough to provide power on movement. Right arm is curved forward, left arm is curved on the right side for support. Now, remember this stance, son. Understood, Father? I'll start practicing the stance. I'll give you an hour to practice the stance, then we will continue the training. Anok give back the spear to Nald. Understood, Father? Nald transmute the spear into battle spear and start performing the Xaltic stance. After an hour, Nald was able to master the Xaltic stance. Excellent, son. Always use this stance whenever you pull out your weapon or in hand-to-hand combat. Let us proceed to the next training, son. I'm ready, Father. Can I borrow the spear again, son? Okay, Father, here it is. And I'll give the spear to Anok. Now, we do the basic thrust and slice while doing the Xaltic stance. Let us start. First, I'll do the stance and then followed by thrust and slice. Anok demonstrate the forward thrust by moving and fully extending his right arm while holding the spear forward, combined with power of his right foot, waist, and hips. And then after he performed horizontal slice, by moving his right arms towards his left side and with the use of his left foot, moving the force to waist, hips, and then quickly swing it to the right while his right foot is providing balance. Son, we have to use the power of the waist, hips, and right foot when thrusting forward, especially if your Xaltic stance is on the right side. Father, I have a question. Can I also do a left Xaltic stance? Yes, son. You can also do that. It depends upon what side you can produce more force. If you're more powerful on the left stance, you can use it. Or if you're more powerful than the right stance, you can use it too. The most important thing here is the principle on how you execute the technique. Remember to use your foot on where your stand is, and then followed by your hips and waist to produce powerful thrust and slice. Another thing to remember, if you're going to use the left stance and you're going to do a thrust, you can use the left foot as a starting force. Move it through your hips and waist and then thrust forward. And when you do the left stance, you're holding the left spear. You're holding the left spear using your left hand. If it is a right stance, you're holding the spear using your right hand. Now, if you're in the right stance and if you do the slice, you have to use your left foot as a starting power, followed by your hips, waist, and move your right arms to the left, then quickly swing your right arm to the right side. Now, you will be out of balance if you will not put your right foot wide enough. Make sure to widen your lower body. Another purpose of lowering down your hips, widen both feet and knees should be curved during Xaltic stance, is to give us enough power to evade or execute an attack, such as forward thrust while striding forward. This is good for range attack. Remember, thrust and slice has a different movement. Make sure to remember the movement when applying the principle. Understood, Father? There are three types of thrust. These are forward thrust, upward thrust, and downward thrust. Do the same principle of doing those thrusts by using your foot, hips, and waist. The only difference is we change the direction of the thrust. There's also three types of slice. These are horizontal slice, vertical slice, and diagonal slice. Again, same principle. The only difference is we change the direction. Understood, Father? Another thing to remember, son, is we can also combine punches and kicks in between our attack, or sometimes we do headbutt as well. The purpose of this is to stagger our opponent and make an opening. You will learn this once you master the Xaltic art of battle. The Xaltic art of battle is a never-ending art of learning battles. Each battle, we always learn new ways to defeat our opponent by analyzing and measuring the situation. We're able to come up with an idea to survive. That is how Xaltic art of battle is based on. Understood, Father? Now, for the practical, I need you to do the following thrust and slice while maintaining the Xaltic stance. Ano give back the spiritual now. First, you do forward thrust, upward thrust, downward thrust, followed by vertical slice, horizontal slice, and diagonal slice. Do it now. Understood, Father? Nald is now performing all three thrusts and followed by three slice, focusing the basic principle of using his foot, hips, and waist to produce powerful thrust and slice. Good, son. You're doing great. I'll give you 3 hours to practice this. Don't stop, okay? I will tell you once 3 hours is up. Understood, Father? Now is doing all thrust and slice for 3 hours. And after 3 hours, I'll go back to Nald and say the following word. That should be enough, son. It's already 3 hours. Time to rest. I will give you 30 minutes for it. Again, try to meditate while you're resting. Understood, Father? Now start to meditate for 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes, I'll go back to Nald and say the following words. That should be enough, son. Let us start the next training. The next training we're going to do is practicing your side step, forward step, and back step. We need to include blocking as well. The purpose of this training is to practice your ability to evade and defend an attack. We Xaltics are agile, and we use that ability to defend ourselves from attack. One of the reasons why we trained your body in the beginning is not only to increase your physical energy, but also to increase your physical attributes and performance before we start on this type of training. Before we start, I need to activate your sixth sense. Father, what is this sixth sense that you will going to activate? The sixth sense that I'm going to activate allows you to detect upcoming danger so that you can prepare to defend yourself in any situation. We call this Karmal senses. Understood, Father? To activate this, just close your eyes. Let me put my hand on your head and I'll start transmutation of mind to activate your Karmal senses. Just give me 10 minutes to do this, okay? Understood, Father? 10 minutes had passed. Okay, Nald, you are now ready. Okay, Nald, you are now capable of doing Karmal senses. Thanks, Father, but how do Karmal senses work? Son, Karmal senses has a capability to sense any hostility or killing intent in your surrounding, or any danger that will put your life at risk. It's like a sign for us Xaltics. It does not require for you to control it because it is automatic in nature. Now, to test your Karmal senses and see if it is working. Anuk suddenly disappeared in the forest, leaving his cape behind. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, a dagger appeared, rushes towards Nald. Nald was able to evade it. Then Anuk appeared in front of Nald and put back his cape. The two continued to converse. Now, do you feel my attention? Yes, Father, I sense that you're going to hurt me really bad, and I sense the danger coming towards me. Somehow, I was able to evade it. That is the purpose of Karmal senses. It detects intention of any being that is around you, but only for intention to either hurt or kill you, and also any danger that will put your life at risk. Above that, nothing else. Once you sense the intention to hurt or kill, or any danger that will put your life at risk, you have a second to ready and defend yourself. As you can remember your action earlier, you decided to evade it. Wow, that is great, Father. But I have a question. How can you disappear so fast and then suddenly appeared back? Son, what I did is basically focusing my physical energy into my speed and agility. That is the reason why I move very fast that even your eyes cannot see. Amazing, Father. Can I learn it as well? Soon, son. Once you master the basics, I will teach you how to focus your physical energy to increase one of your physical attributes at a time. Understood, Father. You can also increase the range of your karma senses up to 1 mile from your surrounding. But you have to focus in order for you to do that. Amazing, Father. This will be a great help. But I have a question, Father. Do you really intend to hurt me badly? Of course not, my son. Why would I do that? The reason why I make the intentions for real is because we need to test if your karma senses, if it is working. But, by the way, the karma senses will not detect it if I'm faking my intention. Understood, Father. It feels so real. Ha ha ha! I fooled you, son. Now, another thing that you need to know about karma senses is once it detected an intention to hurt or kill or any danger that will put your life at risk, it will automatically activate our adrenaline, which will increase all our senses, physical attributes, and performance. That is the reason why it feels so real. Understood, Father. Now, if you don't sense any hostility, then your body will go back to relaxed state. Father, is there any flaws about this karma senses? No, son. It is 100% accurate. It's what kept you and me alive up until now. If there's any danger, I can sense it before you know. Understood, Father. To tell you the truth now, not all Xaltic warriors has a capability. Only the strongest warrior has this. And I know that we Xaltic warriors is no ordinary human beings. But we are still mortal, capable to die, just like any living being in this world. This ability really helps us a lot. Understood, Father. Son, can I borrow your Xaltic? Sure, here it is, Father. Nald gave the Xaltic to Anuk. Let us continue training, son. Stand still. Pull out your spear, transmute it into battle spear, and do the Xaltic stance. Understood, Father. Nald pull out the spear, transmute it into battle spear, and perform the Xaltic stance. Now, son, while doing that stance, I will be attacking you with this rock using your Xaltic. And then after that, I will increase the intensity by combining with physical attack. Understood, Father? Another thing that you need to remember, son, is you have two ways to defend yourself. It's either you evade my attack or block it. If you're going to block it, you can either use your spear or use your earth transmutation. Understood, Father. I'm ready. Let us start, son. Anuk positioned himself in a distance and started to fire rocks to Nald with the use of Xaltic. The rock was fired to Nod is so fast that it cannot be seen by ordinary naked eye, but Nod was able to dodge all of it. Anuk tricked Nod by faking his movement and then suddenly fired a rock. It was so fast that Nod needed to use his spear to block the rock. Then they do this for about an hour, and then Anuk started to increase the intensity. Outstanding, son. Now it is time for me to use this short sword. I will be using a combined attacks between this short sword and a slingshot. Can also fire point blank at distance using the slingshot. So prepare yourself, Nald. Understood, father. I'm ready. Anok started to attack Nald with the use of short sword consecutively. Nald is blocking it using his spear. Then suddenly Anok fired a rock in point blank distance using the slingshot, but Nald was able to block it using his earth transmutation, covering only his left hand. Still, Anok continues to attack Nald non-stop barrage of short sword, then follow up with slingshot. They do this for about 3 hours. I should have been up, son. I'm getting weak on this. Are you alright, father? Yes, son. I'm just tired, that's all. Don't push yourself too much, father. I know, son. I'm getting old. I feel so weak. Give me a minute or two to recuperate. Take your time, father. Amazing, son. You're stronger now. You see, you're not grasping for air anymore. It means your endurance has increased so much. You notice as well that you did not express any intent to kill. You notice as well that I did not express any intent to kill, so that your Karmal senses will not activate your adrenaline. So that means that we are doing this on your relaxed state. Imagine if you are in adrenaline. Amazing, Father. When I imagine it, it's all thanks to you, Father. Haha, it's all in you, my son. Now let us start with your next training. By the way, here is your Xaltic. Anok gave back the Xaltic to Nald. Thank you, Father. Now, son, we will focus on a technique using your spear. Can I borrow your spear again, son? Yes, Father. Here it is. Nald gave the spear to Anok. You will practice on how to rotate your body and also your spear to deliver maximum force. Let me show how to deliver maximum force with the use of your body. To deliver maximum force with the use of our body, we have to rotate horizontally. Let me show it to you how it is done. Anok transmutes the spear into battle spear. Jump forward at the same time rotating his body horizontally while holding the spear, and then he swings his spear to the right, creating a powerful horizontal slice. Anok undo the transmutation of the battle spear. Amazing, Father. You see, son, how powerful the slice is? If you're going to use your body as the main force, you can even slice iron or steel by executing this type of force. But be aware that you are open when using this technique. What do you mean open, Father? It means it's hard to defend yourself from incoming attack while executing this type of attack. So use this wisely, okay? Understood, Father. You can also rotate diagonally and vertically depending on what direction of slice you prefer. If you're going to rotate vertically, you have to front flip yourself, but by simply jumping forward while doing front flip. If you're going to rotate diagonally, just rotate horizontally, but you need to adjust your angle into a little bit of slant position. Understood, Father. Another thing to remember, son, is we can rotate the spear using one hand, but the force is not that powerful. Compare if you're going to use both hands or our body. Understood, Father. Son, let me demonstrate how it is done. Ano transmute the spear into battle spear and start performing diagonal. He jumps forward at the same time, rotating horizontally, and he changes angle a little bit slant while holding the spear. And then he swings his spear to the right, creating a powerful diagonal slice. Anok undo the transmutation of battle spear. Amazing, Father. Now, I will rotate vertically. Anok transmute the spear into battle spear and perform rotating verticals as he jumps forward, at the same time doing front flips. Consecutively, he then swings his spear downward, creating a powerful vertical slice. Anok undo the transmutation of battle spear. Now, son, I will show you how to rotate the spear using one hand. We use our fingers and wrist to do that. Anok transmutes the spear to battle spear and rotates the spear using his one hand. He only demonstrated by showing how his fingers and wrist rotate the spear. Anok undo the transmutation of the battle spear. Did you get it, son? Yes, Father, I get it, and I fully understand. Excellent. Then it is time for you to do those techniques. Anok gave the spear back to Naut. Understood, Father. I will start performing it now. Now transmute the spear into battle spear and perform all three rotating techniques perfectly with no problem. After practicing for several hours, Nal was able to master rotating the spear using both hands and two hands. Using both one hand and two hands. Excellent, son. I will give you 3 more hours to practice all 5 techniques. This includes rotating the spear using one hand and two hands. And then after that, we will start your training. Your next training. Understood, Father? 3 hours has passed. Anok, go back to Naut and say the following words. That should be enough, son. This time I'll be training you using only bare hands and feet as our main weapon. I'll be teaching you basic punches such as jab, straight, punch, hook, and basic kicks such as roundhouse and push kick, and also combine it with headbutt. Now, the stance is the same. Use our Xaltic stance. Both fists should be closed. Anok is demonstrating the move to Naut. Now, for you to learn this, you need to get used to it. So that means I'll be asking you to do the following combos. First is jab, straight, hook. Second combo is jab, straight, and roundhouse. Third combo is jab, straight, and push kick. Fourth combo is jab, straight, and clinch. Then follow up with headbutt. You can actually mix all the combos that I showed to you, but you have to get used to it first. I'll give you 3 hours for this. Now do it, son. Nal was able to understand as he replied, Understood, Father. Now doing the practice all 4 combos for 3 hours. And after 3 hours, Anok go back to Nal to say the following words. Okay, son, that should be enough. Another thing to remember that once you master the Xaltic art of battle using your bare hand, you can develop new techniques in your own way. Let us start the next training. This will be the last technique for using your spear, but this time I will hand you this short sword. Anok gave the short sword to Naut. Thank you, Father. Why giving me this short sword? It's part of your training, son. It is time to teach you how to use your auxiliary weapon. Understood, Father? Using the short sword requires skills as well. But recommendation is if you're going to use it, use a Xaltic stance. Use the same technique as we use the spear. But be aware, son, short sword is not sturdy as our spear. It is only made up of steel. That means it is meant to break or dull. If you're not doing anything, I recommend to sharpen it once in a while. or if it breaks, you can transmute it back as long as you still have the piece of metal with you. Understood, Father? The use of your auxiliary weapon is to follow up an attack. To follow up an attack. Let's say you swing the spear and you miss your opponent. Some opponents are very skilled in evading. They will consider this as your opening and will try to attack you from there. Since our short sword is very light, we can use it to block the attack. We can also use this to counterattack. Understood, Father? Make sure that you place the holder of your short sword beside your hip so that it is much faster to pull out your short sword when needed. Understood, Father? Son, let me borrow your spear and short sword. Sure, Father, here it is. Now I'll give the spear and short sword to Anok. Now let me demonstrate the ultimate technique using your spear. I will place the short sword on my right hips. Now, son, I transmuted a metal earlier and created a long pole instead. Here, take this. Anok, get the pole at the back of the tree and give the metal pole to Nald. Now, son, I need you to hold the metal pole horizontally using your two hands, and I need you to block my attack. Understood? Understood, Father. Here we go. Anok attacked Nald using vertical slice, and Nald was able to block it. Anok then suddenly jumped, combined with the force of his two arms while holding the spear. As he pushes upward, he was able to leap 20 feet up to the air. As he descended downward, he flipped his body where the head is facing the ground. As he descended downward, he faced Nald and ready to execute the slice, but did not continue, and he thrust through the ground instead. Anok undid the transmutation of battle spear. Amazing, son. Amazing, Father. You were able to jump that high. Son, that is the ultimate technique. Remember the training that I asked you to jump as high as you can? Yes, Father, I remember. It is time for you to use that ability for this technique. Make sure that you use both arms as well to increase the force of your jump. And if you notice that during my descent, instead of performing the final attack, I thrust it through the ground. It is because you're still in the range of attack position, and it will kill you once I execute the final attack. Father, what is this final attack? This attack instantly slices or thrusts your opponent before you reach the ground. We use gravity as our main force to slice and thrust. We can also do follow-up attack using short sword if the opponent was able to fend off from first attack. Understood, Father, but is there a way to defend from this attack? Yes, there is, son. You have to get away from the position. On where the attack will occur. Since we are only doing free fall, the only direction we are falling into is down. Can we glide, Father? No, we cannot glide. Another thing to remember is to measure the distance between you and the opponent so that you can execute the final attack before reaching the ground. Timing is very essential when doing this technique. Understood, Father? Another thing to remember, son, that there is an advanced way to do this technique, but it requires physical energy to perform. Once you master the basic on how to perform this final attack, then I will teach you how to focus your physical energy to perform this final attack. I'll do whatever it takes to master this, Father. I'm looking forward to it, son. Anyway, another thing to remember that our opponent does not know this technique, and as much as possible, they will hold and defend their position. They can parry a single attack, but remember, we are much agile than ordinary human being. We can deliver a faster secondary attack. So use this technique wisely, son. Understood, Father? Now it is time for you to do the technique. Here's the spear and short sword. Anak give the spear and short sword back to Nod. But father, I have not seen the final attack. I only see you jump high and thrust the spear to the ground. I already teach you how to do a slice and thrust, right? Yes, father, but then do it. The only difference is you are doing it upside down position, facing down. Learn how to adapt your move. Learn to adapt your move, son. Understood, father. Give me the metal pole that I created, son. Here it is, father. Now I'll give back the metal pole to Anuk. Now, son, I will be the one to block your attack. All I have to do is to execute the vertical attack, and then while our weapon is clashed, you have to jump as high as you can, combined with both force of your arm, pushing upwards. You will be able to reach as high as 20 feet, then you will descend downward. While free falling, you have to maneuver your body into upside down position, facing me. Then ready your spear to execute either thrust or slice to the target before reaching the ground. But father, you will be hit by my attack. No need to worry, son. I will get out of the way from the range of attack. But use your imagination. Imagine that your opponent is still in that position. Make sure before you reach the ground, you already execute the attack. And son, make sure to balance yourself back so that you will not get hurt once you touch the ground. Understood, father? I'll keep that in mind. Let us start. Now attack me now. Understood, father. Here we go. Ha! Pff. Now transmute the spear into battle spear. Then start to attack Anuk using vertical slice. Anuk start the attack. While both weapons clash, now jump as high as he can. Combined with force of his both arms, as he pushes upward, he was able to reach 20 feet high from the ground. Anuk get away from the position on where the attack will be executed. As now descend downward, he flipped his body upside down, facing the ground. As he free fall to the ground, he imagined that the opponent is still in the position. Then execute the final attack by slicing through and then balance himself before he reached the ground. Excellent, son. You have perfectly executed the final attack using slice. Now this time you have to practice a different final attack, such as using thrust, and also imagine your opponent fending from the final attack, and use your auxiliary weapon, which is your short sword, as your secondary attack to finish up your opponent. Understood, father. I will keep that in mind. Now we will be doing this technique for about 2 hours, and then after that we will rest and then proceed on our last training for today. Understood, father. Anuk and Nald continue the training up until 2 hours had passed. That should be enough, son. Let us rest for about 30 minutes. Do your meditation while we are resting. Understood, father. Nald undo the transmutation of battle spear and put it on its holsters, and also the short sword. He positioned himself for meditation. 30 minutes has passed. Anuk approached Nald and say the following words. Okay, son, that should be enough. This time, we will do light sparring. We don't need to hit each other with blades, nor solidly hit each other. All we have to do is to use the round tip of our spear, or bare hands, and lightly hit the occasion if there is an opening in our defenses. Now, let me show it to you. Anuk tapped lightly Nald's abdominal area using the round tip of his bow. Of course, in the real battle, you have to attack your opponent as real as possible, using either your spear or short sword. The purpose of this sparring is to let you get used on using your spear and how the actual battle feels like. Know your weakness and strength in battle. I need you to master the Xaltic art of battle, son. Understood, father. I'll be using this metal pole as my weapon. Let us do this, son. An hour should be enough. Our sparring, after our sparring, we will call it a night. Understood, father. I'm ready. The two had started sparring. Nal transmute his spear into battle spear. The two clashed on each other. Nal was able to see an opening to Anok and tap it. Anok also see an opening to Nal and tap it as well. The two do this for about an hour. Nal undo the transmutation of the battle spear and place it on his holster. You are improving, son. Keep it up. Remember all the openings that you have and correct it. We will be doing this routine every day up until you master this art. Understood, father. I will do whatever it takes to master the Xaltic art of battle. I'm looking forward to it, son. Let us now eat and rest, for tomorrow is another training day. Understood, father. The two start eating their food and rest after that. As time goes by, the two keep the same training routine every day up until now was able to master the Xaltic art of battle. Another 5 years have passed. It's already morning. Nal get up from his sleep. Anok is just sitting on the rock. Nal sit in front of Anok. The two start conversing. Good morning, father. Good morning, son. At last, you are now full-fledged Xaltic warrior. I'm so proud of you, son. The Xaltic art of battle is our key for our survival in this violent world that we are in. Make sure that you use your skill wisely. Understood, father. I thank you. Without your undying support to me, I would not be able to reach this far. No, son, it's all on you. I promise your mother that I will protect you by teaching you the Xaltic art of battle. Even if I'm not with you, I'm confident that you will be able to protect yourself. You have a fully grown man now, son. 18 years old, is it? Yes, father. Soon you will find your mate, son, but before that, I need to teach you a bit more about this world. Now, son, it is time for me to give you the knowledge about magicians. Okay, that should be it for this chapter. Please do like, share, and subscribe. It will really help me a lot. And again, thank you for watching. See you next time.